A currency is a system of money in general use in a specific country. But it's not just about the physical notes and coins that fill our wallets. It's an embodiment of a country's economic strength, a reflection of its stability, and a signifier of the trust its people have in their government and economy. But what exactly does a currency do? It serves four basic functions. Firstly, it's a medium of exchange, a tool that lets us buy and sell goods and services. Without a common currency, we'd have to barter, swapping one product for another. Imagine trying to buy a loaf of bread with a pair of socks. It's not the most efficient system, is it? Secondly, it's a measure of value. Prices are expressed in terms of currency, allowing us to compare the worth of different goods and services. This makes it easier for us to make economic decisions, like whether to buy that pair of shoes or save up for a new phone. Thirdly, currency is a standard of deferred payment. This means it's an accepted way to settle a debt, not just now but also in the future. It's why you can take out loans or buy things on credit. And lastly, it's a store of value. You can keep your wealth in the form of currency and spend it later. Your $100 bill won't turn into a pumpkin at midnight, it'll still be worth $100. So how does a piece of paper or a digital number in your bank account get all this power? It's not inherently valuable. Its value comes from the trust and confidence that people have in its value. We believe that a $100 bill is worth $100, and so it is. But remember, the value of a currency isn't static. It's a reflection of the economic health, stability, and trust in the economy that issues it. So in essence, the value of a currency is a reflection of the economic health, stability, and trust in the economy that issues it. Now that we understand what currency is, we might wonder, why do different countries have different currencies? It's a fascinating question, and the answer lies in the pages of history and the concepts of sovereignty and national identity. Let's begin with history. The idea of different currencies took root in the Middle Ages, when kingdoms and city-states minted their own coins, each bearing the insignia of the ruling monarch or city emblem. This was a way of asserting autonomy and control over their economic affairs. As nations evolved, so too did this practice, eventually leading to the system of national currencies we see today. Now, let's talk about sovereignty. Sovereignty is a nation's right to exercise supreme authority over its own affairs. This includes economic affairs and, by extension, monetary policy. Monetary policy is how a country controls its money supply to manage economic factors like inflation, unemployment, and economic growth. Having their own currency allows countries to adjust their monetary policy according to their own unique economic conditions. For instance, if a country is facing high inflation, it can adjust its interest rates to control it. This wouldn't be possible if they were using someone else's currency. Lastly, we can't overlook the role of national identity. A country's currency is more than just pieces of metal or paper. It's a symbol of the nation, its history, and its people. The images and symbols on a currency often tell a story about the country's culture, achievements, and values. For example, the euro has different architectural styles from different periods of Europe's history, reflecting the shared and diverse heritage of the European Union. Therefore, having their own currency allows countries to control their economic destiny and assert their national identity. It's a potent tool in the hands of a nation, allowing it to navigate the economic seas and chart its own course. So the next time you hold a note or coin from a different country, remember, you're holding a piece of that nation's history and identity. But then, why do these currencies have different values? The value of a currency isn't as straightforward as the price tag on a pair of jeans or the cost of a cup of coffee. It's not static, and it's influenced by a myriad of factors. One of the most significant is inflation. When a country experiences high inflation, the purchasing power of its currency decreases. This means you need more of that currency to buy the same goods or services. Consequently, the value of that currency compared to others drops. Next, we have interest rates. Central banks across the globe adjust interest rates to control inflation and stabilize the economy. Higher interest rates make a currency more attractive because they offer better returns on investments. This increases demand for the currency, driving up its value. Conversely, lower interest rates can lead to a decrease in the currency's value. Political stability also plays a crucial role. Countries with stable governments and robust legal systems tend to have stronger currencies. Investors are more likely to put their money in a country where they believe it will be safe. In contrast, political turmoil or uncertainty can scare investors away, reducing demand for the currency and lowering its value. Then there's economic performance. A country with a thriving economy will often see a rise in the value of its currency. This happens because foreign businesses and investors need to buy that country's currency to invest or buy goods there, increasing demand for the currency. Also, let's not forget about the balance of trade. If a country exports more than it imports, there will be a higher demand for its currency, which can increase its value. On the flip side, if a country imports more than it exports, it can lead to a decrease in the value of its currency. In conclusion, the value of a currency is determined by a complex interplay of various economic and political factors. So the next time you're looking at exchange rates, remember, there's a whole world of factors influencing those numbers. Let's quickly recap what we have learned today. We started off with the basic concept of currency, a medium of exchange that facilitates trade, stores value, and is a standard unit of account. Each country has its own unique currency, like the US dollar, the British pound, or the Indian rupee. We then explored why different countries have different currencies. It's largely due to national sovereignty and economic control. Each nation wants to manage its own economic policy, including interest rates and inflation, which is easier to do with a separate currency. Lastly, we examined why currencies have different values. This is influenced by a multitude of factors, including a country's economic health, geopolitical stability, interest and inflation rates, and public debt. And with that, we have demystified the concept of currency and its value. Next time you look at a banknote or a coin, you'll know there's a lot more to it than meets the eye.